Welcome to Aspire Johnson County's podcast, the Johnson County Business Insider, where we spotlight the people, projects, and policies driving Johnson County's growth. You will hear storytelling, interviews, and roundtable discussions featuring business leaders, educators, elected officials, and community partners. From this, you will gain insight into business, workforce, public policy, and community development around Johnson County. We are excited to announce the Johnson County Business Insider podcast is presented in 2026 by Citizens Bank. This podcast is brought to you by Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank, serving South Central Indiana since 1931, building strong communities one relationship at a time. Learn more at www.citizens-banking.com. Today's episode is a little different. We're pulling back the curtain on something we see every single day at Aspire. The calls, emails, and walk-ins that start with, I don't know who else to ask, but. And joining me today is someone who truly sees it all, Angie Keene, our Senior Manager of Operations and Relations. Around here, we lovingly refer to her as our s'more because she generates the same great feelings as the campfire treat, plus her title as an acronym is s'more. She keeps everything running and frankly holds a lot of institutional knowledge. So welcome, Angie, to the Johnson County Business Insider.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
We appreciate you sharing your stories with us. So before we get serious, we have to start with the fun stuff. You are often the first person people talk to when they call or walk in. What is the funniest, most unexpected, or just most memorable question someone has asked of you?
I have so many to share, and Christian has always said that I should write a book, and after almost 10 years at the Chamber, I do wish that I would have started that at the beginning. But one of my first calls was from someone. I answered the phone, and they said, "Where is that big tree in Greenwood?" No context, no other information. I know there are a lot of trees in Greenwood. I'm not originally from Greenwood, and that was one that I was not able to help, even though I always strive to find an answer somehow, but I just had no idea what tree they were wanting to find.
So at Craig Park, I wonder if it's the tree there. You know that I take lots of walks there with my kids and everything. And there is a tree that's near the parking lot for the baseball fields that has signage and everything and talks about how old it is. I wonder if that's the tree.
It could have been, and that would have been great context. And now I would have more resources to try to find an answer, but I did not know where the tree was.
Yeah, well, if we find a time machine, we could go back 10 years and have you answer that call again and tell them to go to Craig Park. So that was a great one. Do you have any others that are just a good, funny, or memorable calls?
We get so many and a variety. I've had people call to just say who's serving barbecue. And I just use Google and try to find some restaurants that have barbecue on the menu. But just we get a lot of callers that either don't have internet access or aren't really comfortable using the computer, or they just, for saving time, just want to call and ask us instead.
Hey. Do you ever think when you get those calls, how did we become the people for this?
It always makes me smile, and nothing surprises me anymore.
Do you remember ever thinking with one of the calls, only the Chamber would get this call?
When I first started, I was just always surprised by some of the calls, but now I do think only the Chamber would get this call. And like I said, I'm not surprised by it. I'm kind of flattered.
Well, we talk often about, connections we've made with other chambers and, like online or through the internet, social media and everything, and stories that are shared there. So, as we've formed those relationships, I'm sure we've recognized that any community, people reach out to their Chamber of Commerce first.
Yes.
Yeah. So, those stories are funny, but they also say a lot. People call us, they call their local Chamber of Commerce because they trust us. even when their question has nothing to do with membership or events or programming that we offer. From your perspective, Angie, why do people see the chamber as the place to start when they do not know where else to turn?
I think every chamber and every community is a little different, but it speaks volumes to the reputation of chambers of commerce in general, that's the go-to that people know about wherever they are.
So would you say then the chamber has become the community's connector, translator, maybe even sometimes a therapist?
I do think that, and we do have people call and share very personal information, but we always listen and do try to help, and I'm glad that we can be that for the community.
Yeah. I don't know about with other chambers, but we've done at Aspire some very intensive customer service training, and actually, Angie, you led a lot of that over the last couple years with our staff.
Yes.
Let's talk about the impact side of that. Can you share a few examples of issues or problems we have helped solve simply because someone picked up the phone and called us?
Yeah, so one example right now, someone on staff is working on a solution, hasn't been resolved yet, but it's a homeowner that's having some issues. Pat Moon with our economic development department, that's not typically something she would do for a homeowner or a residence, but because she has so many resources and contacts, she took the call and it has spoken with this person several times. And he said that he feels like she's the only person that has listened to him. So I don't know if it will get resolved, but she's definitely finding people for him to talk to and trying to get some answers.
What about an example of one from a business where they reached out to us? They did not know who to go to.
We do have that happen often too. And one example I can think of is a business that was wanting to find someone to certify medical equipment or inspect and certify it. And we don't really have or know anybody that does that, but we use all of our knowledge, even from previous jobs, just being in the community, and we still try to find a resource so we were able to connect that person with someone that could do the work that they needed.
Often the answer is not us fixing the problem directly, but knowing who to connect them to.
Yes, and we're constantly listening for cues so we can help connect people to resources or services that they need. And all of our staff does that. And if it's a cue that we hear that's not something we specifically do in our role, then we share that with someone else so we know that they're getting the help that they need.
Why does that connection piece matter so much in a community like ours?
I think that it can sometimes be confusing to know who to call. So we can be that first call. So who do you want to call? Instead of Ghostbusters, they say Chamber of Commerce.
Love it.
We want to be that connector in the community. So yeah, I think that that it's important to have that relationship.
Right. And I know our Halloween costumes for this year. We are going to be the Ghostbusters. Hey, one thing I love about these stories is these conversations is that they're rarely transactional. They're built on trust, credibility, and relationships we've built over the years. How do you think that trust gets built with members and even non-members who call us?
I think people know after they call us the first time, if we say that we're going to get information and get back with them, that we do call back. And then sometimes those people end up calling again for other reasons. So we truly try to help everybody that we can. With the customer service that we talked about before, we always try to provide top-notch customer service to everyone, whether they're a member or not, and go above and beyond.
And, that's really why the chamber exists, to be able to serve people, to make sure the community's stronger by helping people be able to navigate it.
Yes.
Before we wrap up, we have to end where we started. I want another fun story. So tell me another odd, unexpected, or memorable request that still makes you laugh or shake your head.
I think this isn't very odd, but every year the town planner calendars are mailed out in the community. And we are one of the places where we have extra calendars and people can come pick them up. And since I started, I always know that around October, people will start calling to see if we have them yet or when we're going to get them. And we have some of the same people stop by and pick them up. And I had a really nice lady call last year, and she had not received hers in the mail, and we didn't have them yet. But she wanted to make sure I called her because she said she was already scheduling her doctor's appointments for the next year and couldn't write them down anywhere because she didn't have her calendar. Now, we know some of us use a planner or put things in our calendar on our phones, but she was so used to using that calendar for that purpose that it was really important to her. So I make sure I call those people when we get the calendars in because I know how important it is to them.
Yeah, that's a great story. Yeah, I love that. It really sums up what we do. We may not always be the final answer. We might not be the one with the product, the calendar. We just are providing it. You know, we didn't produce it. We're just providing it. But they know to reach out to us. So that's great. Great. Angie, thank you for sharing these stories and for being the calm, friendly voice on the other end of so many calls to Aspire. To our listeners, if you ever find yourself thinking, I don't know who to ask, chances are the Chamber is a great place to start. That's it for this episode of the Johnson County Business Insider. I'm Angela Vandersteen. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next time. This podcast is brought to you by Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank, serving South Central Indiana since 1931. Building strong communities one relationship at a time. Learn more at www.citizens-banking.com.